Eti for makwa papa daily update TV ne so na message na oba channel ne so a subscribe ma me se me drop in latest bia obeje brand wanya bi eti na ye bora ensem ma eti for yes o konfanti akwa nofa yes na dispute ewo ho between the NDC parliamentary member and MP parliamentary member kupie mo court mu nsensam se court de nsem bi atodwa echemu se some of the cases no be NPP for no lawyers need to meet there no e be a contempt court ho and afi so no they do not say ombe interfere the administration of justice in the court no dey same bebrebe etutu edwa na mepese ye jebre ne ye bowram na yetie ensem ne good news so a etimi eba de ka ho bia de mo ensem bebrem
and you proceed to perform or to engage in the conduct which is the subject of the application, you interfere in the administration of justice, and then you are amenable to contempt of court. And so we have put to serve same on the clerk of parliament as well as the speaker of parliament. And so whichever way you look at it, they should not have any means to have the redeclared. And I want to make a distinction here. It appears that narrative in the media does not capture accurately what has transpired. Now, we are all guided by laws, and we are all expected to ensure that our conduct and behavior is in compliance with the law. What happened with the situation with Pantiakonov is that after the elections, coalition was ongoing, and of course there were misunderstandings. There were two polling stations whose results created the problem. One polling station, what happened was that after the collation had been done actually at the polling station, and the pink sheet had been completed and signed and copies given out to the party agents, the presiding officer, after the agents had left, went ahead and did his own changes on the pink sheet. So that became a problem, and so they had to take time to deal with that. There was also another polling station. At this polling station, the presiding officer claimed that he could not even find his own pink sheet, which was incredible. Now, these two polling stations are one of the strongholds of the NDC candidate. And if you should put the two, voters on these two polling stations together, which is the stronghold of our NDC candidate, he should be winning the elections with more than 1,000 votes. And so you could see clearly that there was an orchestrated attempt, to make him lose the elections. However, despite all the efforts, intended to undermine his victory, when the returning officer subsequently called the agents and the candidate to come, so all of them to do the coalition, he continued to do that, settled the issue, and then did a declaration in favor of the NDC candidate. Now, what is curious about this whole Fantiakwa matter is that, a lot of the information doesn't seem to be in the public domain about what exactly the electoral has done. Now, after the declaration, a day after, then the regional director of the Electoral Commission at Kofodia, he calls to Fantiakwa and then sends
Lawyer, are you there? It would appear we've lost the connection to Lawyer Isaac Minta Labi, who is a Fantiakwa North PC. He's been trying to set the record straight with some of the reporting that we've had. But from where I sit, much of what Lawyer Minta Labi has said so far agrees with what our correspondent has said. But lawyer, if you're there, the only thing that you haven't spoken about now is why the declaration, the original declaration, was done in that room. I think it would lay bare the concerns people have raised about the Fantiakwa North original declaration, which went in favor of your client. So if you can hear me, take on that for me quickly.
Now, what happened was that the coalition was actually suspended after the election due to the misunderstandings. And so what happened was that the day after, the returning officer called, because he needed to conclude his work. He is the returning officer for the constituency. Irrespective of the misunderstandings, he needs to be able to get his work up to a point where he either report back to his officers or conclude the work. And so he called the party agents and the candidates to come in so they can find a way to resolve the matter. That's what happened. And you see, once you are done with the declaration, there's a declaration form that you must complete, and that will complete your work. And that is where you, the returning officer, you must sign, endorse, put your name, put the date and signature, and all these things. Now, those copies had already been returned to the Electoral Commission. And so to be able to get access to these documents, you have to go to the Electoral Commission office. So that room is actually the Electoral Commission office. And so what happened was that he called and said, look, these documents, due to the misunderstanding and the suspension of the coalition, even if when you meet me there, I cannot have access to the declaration forms to be able to complete the work. So meet me at the Electoral Commission office at Fantiakwa, where I can get access to the document. And once we understand ourselves, we can proceed to complete the forms. Everybody will get their copy. That's what happened. And so it's not like somebody's room or somebody's bedroom or anything.
Right.
This is the Electoral Commission. In Fantiakwa, no, not Tesano, in Fantiakwa, no. And this is the officer for the elections. So he is the one mandated by law to undertake this duty and responsibility. And he is the one who went ahead to do it. Under the law, once the declaration, the only option on the table for any person who feels aggrieved is to go to court. There is nothing like a redeclaration under the law. There is nothing like that. And a redeclaration cannot be done by even the Electoral Commission. It can only be done pursuant to a court order. That is it. So all that is going on, unfortunately, people don't seem to understand. And they think that, oh, okay, Electoral Commission can do this. But no. The law is very clear. The CR 127 who regulates elections in this country. Once a declaration has been done, if you are unhappy, see, if parties and we understand ourselves, we can correct whatever mistake we feel there is and move on. As long as we understand ourselves, we don't need to go to court. Case closed.
Very well. Lawyer, thank you so much for talking to us. We'll follow this story closely as it unfolds. I appreciate your time with us. Yvonne Ikwe, thank you also for talking to us. Yvonne Ikwe is our Eastern Region correspondent. We've been talking about the Akwetia and Fantiakwa North constituency. It would appear that as it is now, there are stumbling blocks in the way of the redeclared MPs from being, sworn in. Yes, that's what I want to say. Sworn in on January 6th in Parliament. Anyway, there's one more thing I want us to talk about, and it's because there will be no new leadership for the NPP in the 9th Parliament as the caucus flips from majority to minority. More of that when we come back. Don't go away. Minority leader, the Efutu MP, Alexander Penyomaking, is en route to becoming the minority leader. This comes after NPP's National Council voted to retain Penyomaking alongside his deputy Patricia P.J. as caucus leaders. This also means the Efutu MP will sit on the left-hand side of the speaker, a position he showed dread for in the last few months of 2024. I want to show you more of this. So there he is, pictured to the left of your screen, Alexander Penyomaking, incoming minority leader. Patricia P.J. will be deputy minority leader. Frank Anodompre, the Nsawama Drejui MP, who almost lost his seat thanks to the redeclaration. He's returning to Parliament, thanks to the EC declaration in Accra. Excuse me. He's returning to Parliament as minority chief whip. Habib Idrisu, once first deputy majority whip, will be first deputy minority whip. Now, there comes the change. Davis Ansa Opoku, MP-elect for Impreso, will now be the second deputy minority whip because the Sashia Cöntémpt MP, Alex Tete has lost his seat. And so he's not coming back to Parliament, and Davis will take the position. So this is the lineup we'll see for the minority side in the 9th Parliament. The National Council of the NPP is retaining all of them. The newbie on the block of leadership for the NPP will be Davis Ansa Opoku, MP-elect in Preso, as second deputy minority whip. That's what we are picking up so far. And so there it is. Alexander Penyo-Markin, Patricia P.J., Frank Anadompre, Habib Idrisu, and Davis Ansa Opoku. So that's it. You know, the minority side will be complemented by the list of people that you have seen all the way to the entrant, Davis Opoku. I want to bring in now Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere, who is a political scientist who will share some insights on these changes we are seeing. Doc, good evening to you. Good choice, or choices, if you like, the National Council have made?
Well, let me say good evening to your good self and to your viewers. Political analyst, not a political scientist. I think that I've already granted an interview on this particular issue with 3FM, and my views are quite simple. I don't know what the National Council saw to maintain Afinyo-Markins. They might have seen something that I've not seen. But at this point in time, when you have an absolute minority, then I think you need someone who can really build bridges. Because if it is a matter of the bravado, the display of someone who thinks that is on top of everyone, his shoulders towering above everybody else, and now he's going into minority and you make him the minority leader, well, then it means that he might have seen certain things that others have not seen. But if it is a matter of skill of negotiation, which he doesn't have, because if he did, I don't think that the NPP would have found itself where he finds itself today, in terms of he running to the Supreme Court to create all manner of problems for the party, that if probably they were supposed to gather a certain data to find out exactly what caused their loss, that humongous loss, probably this one would have become part of the reasons why they lost the elections in such a humongous way. Be that as it may, when it comes to the rigors of Parliament, in terms of the Hansard, in terms of the rules and regulations of Parliament, I think you cannot take that away from Mr. Afinyo-Markins. He really learned his ropes from that of Mr. Oseche Mensah-Bonsu. But you could see the difference. There's a vast difference. You could see that post Oseche Mensah-Bonsu's era has been nothing but a topsy-turvy fortunes for the NPP. And just because you have, I don't know whether it is youthful exuberance or someone who thinks that he knows it all and will not consult other members who are senior members of the party as part of the caucus. If this is what the NPP intends to put across with respect to the 9th Parliament, then I'm very sure and certain that in the 10th Parliament, they will still be in opposition. Now, apart from Afinyo-Markins, you can talk of Anadompre. I mean, I don't know whether in terms of the whip system he's been very good, but to pass a comment like, for example, that the turbidity of the water in the NDC era was far worse than theirs, that was an unguarded statement. And though he is a UCC product in the past, I will not in any way ask that he be maintained. One way or the other, they could have thought of the former, I don't want to suggest names for now, but
why not? You think there could have been better choices made for these positions?
Yes, certainly. What's the name of this man? He's one of the Obuasi MPs, who was then the majority, leader for the finance committee or something of that sort. A very vociferous person. He speaks true to power. I think that you need such a person at the forefront But getting to the dying embers of the party in government, I think he fell out of the powers that be in terms of the establishment and was kicked out, and he was made the leader or the spokesperson for the economy, of which we do not know what came out of that particular committee.
I
The
see.
Habib is tainted. He has an issue, this an Australian issue that he's supposed to deal with. I think that matter is in court. So you could have, changed that person. Apart from that, even the kind of words that he uses, some of them are non-lexical. You cannot find them in the dictionary. Words like interpreted and all those things that he's been using.
Doc? You are accusing him of malapropism.
Oh, of course. I mean, if you can check some of the things that he used to say, especially when they were facing these difficulties with respect to this parliament and that of the speaker. And you will find out he was using that particular word, a word that does not exist in the dictionary. And so the rest, I have nothing else to say about them. But if the National Council thinks that in their own wisdom, Mr. Afenya-Markins, as I said, in terms of the rigors of Parliament, in terms of issues relating to the answer, in terms of issues in terms of Parliament, you cannot take that thing away from him. But that is not enough.
That is not enough. That is not enough. And here's what I'll say to that. And I'm glad that you came up with some names, because this is what we are hearing from the quarters of the NPP, that the leadership of the 9th Parliament will look like. There was one more person that, I forgot to add, because the position of the 2nd Deputy Minority Whip, because it's vacant now, as 2nd Deputy Majority Whip, I mentioned earlier that Alex Jobonoa had lost his seat, and so that position needs to be filled. Our understanding is the contest could be between Davis Ansa Opoku, the MP elect for Impresso, and then Jerry, who you see on your screen at the moment. Jerry Ahmed Shaib is a first-time MP himself, and he could be also considered for that position. So if this is anything to go by, this is likely to be the leadership we'll see for the minority side in Parliament. Remember, I also said that the Efutu MP has dreaded sitting on the left-hand side of the MP, of the Speaker, in the last few months, and it would appear that if he's retained, he's going exactly there. But, let's take the opportunity to look on the flip side, the incoming majority as well. What will be your advice to them in terms of making choices for leadership?
Well, I think that in their case...
Edamasiso, some daily update TV.